I'm learning all the time, even if I'm learning the wrong way of doing things half the time. Hello and welcome to another week on HubNut. We're talking about the Fiat Panda in a bit, but first of all I need to address a slight error in the last video. There was actually some happenings with the Pajero, so let's jump back in time for the clip I entirely forgot to post. Talk about jobs you wish you'd never started. This is just getting crazy. I cannot even get the new belt. I've ordered a 4PK 1130 to replace this 4PK 1130 that came off the car, and it still doesn't fit. It just isn't possible to get it around the tensioner. I've checked the belt routing a couple of times. If you get the belt routing wrong, it's way too loose, and if you do it correctly, you just can't get the belt in. I don't understand. So yeah, I just can't get this belt to fit. 4PK 1130, that's what came off. That's this old belt here that I did actually end up cutting off to get off last time. So it's the right belt, but it doesn't seem to fit. And I'm a bit confused. The power steering pump and the aircon pump are fixed in place, as is the crank pulley, obviously. And the adjuster just doesn't seem to have enough give in it to slacken off to get the belt on. It's quite confusing, so I welcome your thoughts on what to do with that. And no, I don't want to throw away the car. We've spent a lot of money on this thing, and I'll never get that money back, but we still want to get it on the road, go green laning and have some fun, and then get it gone. We start this week's video with the Fiat Panda. We took it on a 200-mile drive at the weekend, and there are subtle clues, but we did some miles. It's absolutely plastered in flies, so it's not. Oh, hello. How are you? You're very well. Jolly good. You're a lovely dog. That's the mommy dog. Yeah, we need to clean this, so I'm going to do that first thing. Then I've got to do some mucking about with something we've been sent for a sponsorship thing, and I want to see if it'll work with the Daihatsu. And then, yeah, I'm not sure what we're going to do. It'd be really good to undo some of last week's chaos. Incidentally, the Velsatis is sold, awaiting collection. Collection should be on Thursday this week. But yeah, I've got to sort this mess out. I kind of knackered things up here. Someone pointed out I haven't destroyed the drive shaft. I have knackered this thread up. But I haven't knackered the drive shaft because it's a CV joint. So you can replace the CV joint. So maybe not so bad. So I think ideally I would get the knuckle back on. And we can at least have the car on its wheels again, because you know it is likely destined to be a parts car, but let's not make it a parts car until we really have to. Just while we're moving on, people often ask about insurance, and I've got various insurances in place. The 2CV and the Ford Fairmont are with Adrian Flux, and with Adrian Flux purely because Adrian Flux does this thing where they will cover you up to 20 grand on any car fully comp. So a lot of insurers will give you third-party cover on driving other cars, which basically makes it legal to drive those cars. But Adrian Flux, up to 20 grand of value, will cover me fully comp. So I've got to make special arrangements for anything worth more than that. But that is why I'm with them. I'm not with them because of their customer service, because it's awful. If it wasn't awful, all of my cars would probably be with Adrian Flux. But as it happens, Adrian Flux won't cover Miss HubNut. So she's covered on this one and this one. But we've just renewed the insurance on this, and I've ended up with Tesco, of all people, the supermarket. The insurance on this is horrendous, and I don't fully understand why. And the insurance on this isn't too bad, and we've still got this covered for me and Miss HubNut to drive. So the two cars on the fleet she can drive are the Panda and the Canary, and I think I know which one she likes most, and I don't think it's this one. As good as this is, it just hasn't got the character, it hasn't got the torque characteristics. This runs out of steam so quickly on hills, and you just got to go chasing the revs. It's a pure Italian engine, whereas these have a surprising amount of low down grunt for a 1 litre engine, and yeah, you really notice the difference. But yeah, horrendous. I'm over £450 to insure this for a year, which is just crazy. And you bear in mind the 2CV and the Fairmont are each 270, I think. So yeah, my insurance bill ends up adding a lot. This is why the Velsatis over here was only on temporary insurance, because I can't afford to add it to any of my policies. It just gets ruinously expensive. Took the Invacar up the back She's with Peter James Insurance, who I've used many times over the years. I've even had to, sadly, test their claim service, and it's very good. The Charade, uninsured at the moment. Bella's uninsured because it's actually Bella's insurance I've swapped over to the Panda, and there's no point insuring this yet. We don't worry about that yet. And what's not here? Oh yeah, Betty. Betty's on the same policy as Ellie. So that is it. I've got them with various companies. I forget who the Panda's with eShore. We've been with eShore for quite a few years. They were insuring this one. So the eShore policy has gone between this car and then the Berlingo, and now it's on the Panda. In fact, I think it went from this car to the Berlingo, back to this car, and then to the Berlingo, I think. Yeah, it's all very complicated. But eShore, generally, very, very quick and easy to deal with. None of this is sponsored. I'm not sponsored by insurance companies at the moment. Have been in the past. Yeah, I'm not at the moment. I'm just talking about real life experience. None of which is helping me wash this car. Well, that's looking rather better, I think. Lovely. Let's go wide. There we go. So yeah, looking lovely, but it's a reminder of how much of these cars they didn't bother to paint. So they didn't actually paint any of the underbonnet areas to keep the price down. And that continued into the Mark III Panda as well. But it's all looking all good under here, just giving it a bit of a wipe down. Look at that. Still looks absolutely brand new. And generally, it's looking very tidy. All the door shuts are pretty clean. I've given them a quick wipe. But yeah, it looks lovely. One annoyance of the Panda, which I remember from my road test, you can only open the boot with a key. No remote release and no handle. So you've got to use the key every time. Very irritating if you want to get in the boot and you've already got the engine running. Even cleaned in the fuel flap. Again, that wasn't too bad in there. You can see it doesn't quite pass concourse. But yeah, looking good, little car. Looking good. And it's a nice little car. And it's just a bit noisy. I don't know if it's the tyres. They're hardly top quality brands, I don't think. Harmonic, something or other's on the front. But yeah, the road noise is absolutely horrendous. We've got Carpathos on the rear. What the heck is a Carpathos? I have no idea. But yeah, there we go. Tyres. And it's a little cosy inside, but the gear lever being right next to the steering wheel is a bit of a boon, as is having the city mode steering. And just 45,000 miles on the clock. It's only done a few hundred with us. So yeah, got something in the paint here though. I don't know what this is, but I can't feel it with my finger. Maybe I'll get a bit of polish on so we can polish it off. It's a bit strange. It's there as well. There's bits on here. I don't think that's from me doing paint stuff in the workshop. But yeah, I might just see if I've got some gloss or something to go over the top. What on earth have I become? Is this my life now, cleaning cars? But it does show what a difference it is having access to running water. Absolute game changer. Oh, and while I have a quick sit down, a lot of people asking, where's Desmond? Because Desmond wasn't included in the last fleet update. Here is Desmond, the Perodua Canary. Now over 9,000 miles since we bought Desmond in July last year. And yeah, it's just been in regular daily duty. We've still got a slight issue with the idle. The idle sometimes goes a bit funny, which again, I was thinking, shall I nick the throttle body off the other Charade? I think it's the same item. But yeah, just having a bit of a rest. This week has been busy on driving lessons again, and it's just good as gold, this little car. We absolutely love it. So that is a Sunny Harmonic tyre, and on the back we've got the Carpathos FM601. You won't be surprised to learn that both of those are Chinese brands, so we may well be upgrading. I don't wish to diss on the Chinese tyres, but a lot of them are not great, and I think the Carpathos are a C rating for wet weather grip, which is a bit less than I like. I like an A preferably, a B at the very worst. So yeah, not great, and you definitely want decent rubber on your car. So once Little Miss HubNut actually passes her test, we may look to upgrade. We haven't actually driven this car in the rain yet, so I can't comment on their rain performance. Right, having thoroughly dismantled this car last week, I think it's time to put it together again. So we can drop it down on the ground, even if we can't really drive around in it. So start by getting the hub back on. So that's on that ball joint there, and that point up there, and pop one of these bolts in. Oh, yeah, that wasn't quite how this was meant to go last week, really. It was a bit of a mess up getting this hub off and then finding it's knackered, but I guess it's a kind of HubNut. But yeah, it's not really where we want it to be. I've just realised to put that in. I haven't got the drive shaft in yet. I should probably do that first. Does make sense. But yeah, the other reason for doing this is so I don't forget what needs to happen. And one of the things that needs to happen is that needs to go in there. Oh, it's definitely one of those jobs where you need about 16 hands. That lined up? Yeah, there we go, it's starting to go through. Right, now we can pop that back in. But yeah, it was a nice idea, but we could just take this off and it'd be perfect. But I think because this car has been standing, things have corroded up in ways that are slightly less than ideal. But there we are. We won't be driving this car very far because I'm probably not going to bother tightening stuff up, because my drive shaft nut looks like that, absolutely mullered. So yeah, that's not going to be a lot of use, but at least it should stop it just falling off. I don't think it will, because it's just going to stand here, but anyway, and it's going to get the big socket for that, and then we'll start getting ball joints back on variously. Where's the nut for that? There it is. Again, we don't have to go fully tight. We're not trying to make it roadworthy, we're just trying to make it so we can move it around if needs be. You going on? Don't feel like you're going on. Oh yeah, you are. I should probably put a label on the dashboard to remind me that this is all very, very loose fit. You don't want to go on, do you? What are you doing? Oh, there we go. Oh, that really is not tightening up at all. Great. What is up with you then, nut? Or is the whole thing spinning around? Is that what's going on again? That's exactly what's going on. I think the whole thing's just rotating. Marvellous. Oh well, it's in there. This can't come out. That'll do. And then get the 17s back on. Let's turn that down a bit. We don't need full Blatto power. Because again, this is not a permanent fix. We're not going to be suddenly going, oh yes, let's put this car on the road. Okay, maybe I shouldn't have done that one up quite so tight yet. It has been a learning experience, to be fair. I'm learning all the time, even if I'm learning the wrong way of doing things half the time. I should say, what we're going to do is probably put a wheel bearing in the other hub. So the hub that came off Chemi, I think we're going to just put a hub on that. A new wheel bearing rather. I cannot get a hub. I would love to, but that's apparently not an option. There we go. Now we can do the top one up. seems to be going back together much easier than it came apart, in fact. Where's me nut for the wheel nuts? Should have a nut for the bottom ball joint. Is that it? No, it doesn't look like it. It needs to be a castle nut, really. Not unless it's going on there, so it's going on there. And again, we'll just do it up a bit tight. I have a feeling the ball joint's turning on that as well, but it's sort of progress. Get all these bits off. Again, lots of copper grease where the discs sit, so someone had definitely been in here. The discs haven't got much wear on. Annoyingly, we don't need discs at all. I'm going to have to bash the plate back a bit. That's yeah, that's not ideal. It'd be nice if these backing plates existed and you can get them, but you can't. And then that pad goes in there. Oh, I can never get these blooming things in. In you go. There we go. Come on. Marvellous. Now we can get the caliper back on. He says, maybe we can't. That pad is not happy, isn't it? We're just not hitting it right. That's probably the problem. Oh no, I suspect the problem is I think I accidentally... Oh, that caliper piston's all torn as well. So yeah, I think I've pushed the piston out. Okay, get it to go back in. I'll find some way. Oh, might be enough. Yeah, I think that probably will be enough. There we go. Marvellous. And we can get the caliper pins back in. And just because, yeah, someone has used copper grease. That's why it's seized, I think. Don't use copper grease on your sliders. You want red rubber grease, really, or other things do exist. I'm trying to think the name of the one we use. It's like a Ceratec. That's the one, Mintex Ceratec. But for now, I'm just using penetrating oil, just so we got something on there. And let's see if we can get these back in. I think they're 14s. Because yeah, once you start taking bits off a car, then it just becomes an immovable hulk, really. And I think it's just better to keep this car moving for as long as possible. We may yet do it up, get it back on the road. We just don't really know. There we go, that'll do. No point going crazy. And then with that comes the wheel. Oh, on that goes. Oh yeah, I need to do the hub bearing up at least a bit. Let's just get all these on. What are you happy about? Ooh. Okay. I must have caught that. That's got a knacker thread on it as well. Marvellous. 3 nuts it is then. So generally I made a right mess of this car. I don't think I've got 21 with me. Yeah, I think some people would argue there's no quicker way of making a spares car than giving it to me. So. Come on. Again, I've got this on a low torque setting because we're not trying to torque it up for the road. That'll do. And we'll lower it down, then we'll see if we can get this drive shaft nut to tighten up just a bit. But gonna have to get a jack now. Noisiest job in the world. I shall spare you the horror. There we go. Always important, because, you know, if something happens to me and this car gets sold, no one will know what state it's in. But at least with that there, oh, take the handbrake off now, she's down on the ground. That rear brake's seizing up. Yeah. But, yeah, now anyone will know that that's a bit loose. Right, let's just have a quick recap on the fleet generally. Shemi, we're waiting for the wheel bearing, and then we can get her reassembled back together again. Ellie the 2CV, I may start the engine swap today. There's no reason not to do it. I need to give Pete his engine back. A beautiful 602 that is running so sweet. I've got to take it out and give it back to him. And we've got a tweaked 652 to go in, but I need to do some performance testing really before I do the engine swap. It'd be nice to have some measurable metrics. So that's what's going on there. Desmond, I've already told you, slight idle issue, but otherwise all right. Belda de Blingo at the back here, he's waiting for payday. And then I'm going to order up a lower arm, and we've got another hub to go on because we found a problem with the hub. When it had a wheel bearing replaced, the garage had done a really bad job, and it was actually dangerous. The bottom mount where the pinch bolt goes in was actually cracked. So very glad that didn't fall off. Pajero, yeah. Tuck, I haven't got near Tuck. I was hoping to get Tuck out for the Wheels for Wales meet, but with only one driver, I don't think it's going to be practical. So I need to have a think about the future of Tuck. Is that the best thing for Tuck? Just sat there. She spent 14 years sat in the field not moving. Now she's sat in my unit not moving. Fiat Panda, nothing to report really. It's now clean and ready to go. And I've already told you about the Velsatis. The red Charade is back together again. Did I actually show you the red Charade back on its wheels? I think I did. But nonetheless, it now looks a lot less like a parts car, so that's good. And Betty the Ford Fairmont is at home. That is the missing link. That is the one car that isn't here today. Betty is at home, and I think probably going to use her on Wednesday to go and do some filming. So I'm just going to pop some extra light on. Oh yeah, that makes a difference. Not. And yeah, we'll work out what we're going to do with Ellie. I'm going to have a bit of a shift around. So let's go and film some acceleration tests, and then we can concentrate on some actual work. That's the one, work. Right, trying to find a flat bit of road to do an acceleration test. Not ideal around here, but if we do it here, then I think we'll be all right, because as long as we start in the same spot, let's just get the front level with that, well, with the pair of gate posts, the one you can see over there as well. And we'll come back after the engine swap. I'm going to use the Dragger app to record our speed. There it is. So we're a bit downhill, so this should be a bit quicker than the factory figure, which is about 30 seconds. '56, '57. I reckon 60. So slow down makes it stop counting. So that was 0 to 60 in 25 seconds. Wow. That shows you the power of gravity, I think. But now we've got our benchmark, we can go and swap the engine. I've got to let that engine bed in a bit first. I can't exactly come straight out and do it again. We'll see where it makes a difference. I'm going to have to open the window. Absolutely roasting. So there we go. It is time to turn off this engine for the last time. And what a sweet little engine that was. Let's get started. Before we do, I'm just going to run some penetrating oil along the bonnet hinge. It does help. I should probably do this occasionally anyway, it might stop it rusting. There we go. So the bonnet hinge is a sliding hinge. So all I've got to do is open the bonnet, remove the washer pipe, and then I should just be able to pull the bonnet off the car. There we go. Oh, come on. Whee! Now got a bonnet. Where the heck am I going to put the bonnet? I don't know. It can go there for now. So that's stage one. Stage two will be getting the wings off, but I'll spare you that. You've probably seen that plenty of times anyway. And then we've got to disconnect the wires. We've got to take the headlamp bar off, and then there really isn't an awful lot more to it. I'm going to disconnect the battery before we go any further. There we go. Right then, 10 mils holding this on, 19 mils holding the wings on, 3, 4, off. Oh, and for the record, it is currently 1:45 in the afternoon. Let's see how quickly I can get this engine out. Should be able to lift the engine out on my own. Thankfully, Pete names his engines. So this engine is called Daisy. So, yeah, we know we aren't putting the same engine back in. I've got to try and remember, is that my electronic ignition? I can't remember. Maybe it is. It's clearly my wiring. Yeah, Eddie's wiring's a bit of a mess. We're hoping it's going to be possible at some point to get right-hand drive wiring looms remade. You can get left-hand drive ones, but not right-hand drive. That would make life a lot easier. Oh, this thing makes me feel like a right fraud. This is way too easy. Right, and now the tricky bit is getting the wing off. It should ping off there quite nicely, but then you've got to try and get the cardboard hose through the oh no, there we go, through the hole. There we go. And then you got to try and get the wing out without scraping it on absolutely everything. I've forgotten some wiring here, haven't I? That's the indicator wire, which is actually tied to the HT lead, I think. Oh no, I think if I just pop that off, there we go. Now we're free. I don't know how people like Jono, oh great, that goes through that wire. That's not so easy. I don't know how they do this on like really nice cars. It must be absolutely terrifying. They probably don't make quite such a mess of it. That's going around that cable. It might be easy to get that cable out of there. I obviously thought that was a good idea at the time. It wasn't. What do I need? 7s, I think. Right. Is that small? Can I maybe... I think that's small. A little kit here. 9mm, no. 8mm. Oh, that'll do it. There we go. Now I can take the heater cable out of there. I'll tuck you down there for now. And now we can get the wing off. And this is why everything on HubNut takes 16 times longer than it should. Right, what needs to come undone here? That's the car, so that needs to come out. Again, I've got the HT lead looping around, but that'll have to come off anyway. That's all free, that's all free, that's all free. Right. So I'll pop that one off. That one. I might whiz this one off altogether actually on the bottom. Does make life easier. And then this one. There we go. And again, got to get a cardboard tube through the hole. And yes, it really is cardboard. And yes, cardboard really does seem to stay okay, even in Wales, where it gets very wet. There we go. And out comes Eventually, driver's side wing. There we go, we're about 10 minutes in, car's in bits already. I think Desmond may have to stay out for this one, because I'm going to be using Desmond's space for this sort of thing. Right, so next thing that really needs to come off is the headlamp bar. So I need to disconnect the wire into the coil. And I'm going to try and not disconnect the wiring. There are a load of connectors, but I think if we just move the headlamp bar around the corner, we should avoid that. But we will need to disconnect the headlamp adjuster, which is that splint pin and that washer, and then I've just got to unscrew it inside the car, which is a lot easier. So it does, every 2CV had height adjustable headlamps from the factory, because the suspension's so soft and the rear end is so likely to sag. There we go, let's pull that into the car. But yeah, they thought it was essential to have that, and I think they were right. Also need to take off these cardboard pipes here. These are the heater pipes, and someone did rather too good a job of putting these cable ties on. But cable ties are a must, because if these pipes fall on the exhaust, they catch fire, and they do sit right above the exhaust, so that is a very real danger. That's this one off. Can rest up there. Must remember the top of the screen wash when we're done. It's looking a bit low. And on the other side, I've actually got some garden twine holding on. For a more reusable approach to security, but either way, as long as there's something is better than nothing. Don't just trust luck, because the exhaust system on a 2CV, if you're not familiar, I'll quickly show you. So the exhaust starts on each cylinder, because it's a flat twin engine, through the heat exchanger, where some of the heat is mixed with air taken from around the engine, so hot air is made hotter by the exhaust, comes up the cardboard pipes, and then you conduct it up to the windscreen or down to the floor. That is how that works. And then the exhaust goes into the cross box, so both pipes, it's in both sides, into that collector box, the cross box down the bottom, then through the swan neck, through the torpedo, and in my case I've got a van system, so I've got a side exit exhaust ahead of the rear wheel. And oh gosh, Ellie, yeah, might have to address that before it goes back, the wing goes back on. That's another thing that ends up taking ages. So yeah, that's how the exhaust works. You've got 5 exhaust clamps in the engine bay, 1, 2 each side, and then 3, that one down there. So there's lots to get undone. But yeah, we should be okay to unbolt the headlamp bar. Might take the bumper off, depending on the fixings, because it tends to be the same fixings. And then we can move the headlamp bar out of the way. Theory, that should be headlamp bar free. And there we go, we can just move that round over there. Can I get it on the floor? Not quite, but we'll rest it on that wheel. Can't rest on the exhaust, that's not going to work. At least not that bit of the exhaust. Gonna hook it under this tie rod. It should stop trying to escape, hopefully. There we go. Right, so side mounted headlamps, and now exhaust, but I think I'm actually going to take the air cleaner off first. Probably a good idea. I'm just going to put this is the split pin from the headlamp doohickey. So let's just sort that out. Yeah, we'll get the air box off next, which is 17s, I think. Sometimes it's 16s just for lols. That's 2, yeah, there we go, that's a 17. They haven't been on long, so they're coming off nice and quick. And then there's an 11mm on the back. Get that off. This one's not quite so easy to get to. No, It helps you turn it the right way, I guess. Oh, yes, definitely does. No room to get the impact driver in over here. There we go, set that off. Actually, I think the Wizzy and extension might be a good way of getting the back bolt off. This is a really useful thing. I've got it down on the lowest setting, and yeah, it's amazing how useful it is. Well, that was the sound of the bolt nut dropping on the floor, but nonetheless we have it. There we go, we'll just flick that arm up in the air. We'll put the nut back there. You know, that's where it belongs. And then I've just got to loosen the big clamp on here on the carburetor. And we should now be able to walk that off. You have to walk it off the threads a bit. That's that side off. Oh, disconnect that pipe. And there we go. And we've got something attached to it somewhere, I think. Oh, it's walked itself back on. There's something attached to this somewhere. Or is it just quarter range stuff? Quarter range stuff, there we go. That's the air cleaner assembly off. We're getting close now. Let's get the heat exchangers off, disconnect throttle, fuel, and choke cables. Probably whiz the starter off, will make life easier. We're not trying to disengage from the starter motor. And yeah, we're probably there. Yeah, that is not tight, which I'm going to call less than ideal. The heat exchanger's free, which again can just go out of the way for now, I think. Or are they attached? Oh, still got that clamp on. Excuse me, gentle adjustments. Oh, wow. Well, that one didn't want to come off, did it? Right, that's that one. That's that one. Oh yeah, I think we'll just get these out of the way. I'll work my way under the cables. Easier said than done. There's lots of sharp grabby bits on these. So that's the heat exchangers, no longer attached. What did I just kick off? Oh, the spacer. That goes on the headlamp bar. Well, we can just pop that on here. Oh, it'll be good. Cables and petrol and 4 bolts, and we're ready to take the engine out. 23 minutes past 2, so that's not bad going for me. 2CV mechanic will probably have the engine out by now. Right then, that should be everything, he says. Let's just see if I can find a mat or something to go over the front bumper, try and protect it a bit. Some carpet underlay will be perfect. There we go. I just remembered what I normally do is get a jack under the gearbox, and that A gives it some support and B gives you a better angle. Right, I'm going to see how we're doing at that. A nice angle now. No, the jack isn't quite there. It's trying to fall off. To get this piece of wood through under the bell housing. Oh, that feels close. It is close. Come on. Yeah, there we go. Alright, now we should be able to drop the jack entirely. Is that enough angle? I don't feel that is enough. Get this piece of wood back. Let's try and jack under that piece of wood. That'd be good. It's a lot easier on you when there's two of you, you know. But hey, can't be helped. Right. Pull. Oh, come on. It's just not a sweet enough angle yet. Oh, there we go. We are right. Now we just need to get the engine to there. We'll stretch the back muscles out first. Ooh. There we are. A bit of wood's not really under the gearbox, is it? Well, I'm having a rest because I'm also having to recharge my phone at the moment, hence no microphone. But I'm just surveying the carnage, and thought I'd better remind people why Ellie has a loaner engine. If you remember, her original engine did 160,000 miles, and then I had a spare engine from an Acadian I had. I'd grabbed that engine out of a scrapyard for 30 quid. And I fitted it to my Acadian on my 21st birthday. The Acadian kind of rusted away, so that engine got shoved in my aunt's shed for a decade. And then I put it in Ellie, and we moved to Wales. For some reason, when we moved to Wales, I put Ellie's original engine back in and did another 10,000 miles on it. So Ellie's original engine did 170,000 miles. And then it was starting to burn oil. So rather than do pistons and barrels, I chucked the spare engine back in. And then the spare engine, I fitted a 652 Burton 652 kit to it in, when was that? That was 2019? Yes, 2019. So we went and did Raid Tan Hill with the freshly rebuilt engine. And then just before the Croatia trip, that engine actually pulled out one of the head studs. So the cylinder head was starting to flap. We discovered this like the week before we were due to go. So I was just like, something is very wrong. And that's when my friend Colin came over and we made a Bitzer engine. I got another engine that I got with a complete 2CV and a chassis with just the engine and gearbox fitted. I sold the chassis, kept the engine. I can't remember if I kept the gearbox, probably. And that engine had sat outside wrapped in plastic for I have no idea how long. But we hastily built the engine. Thought it sounds okay, but on that Croatia trip, there was definitely something not quite right. There was a bit of a harmonic, shall we say, from the bottom end. And despite me doing a genuine 80 miles an hour on the downhill section of the German Autobahn, just to say I had, that didn't fix it. And then a couple of years later, it started to knock really quite badly and show low oil pressure. So I parked her up, and that's when Pete from Sparrow Automotive, topmost chap, I didn't ask for this at all. He just offered an engine. He says, I've got loads of spare engines. If you want to borrow an engine, you're more than welcome. So we went over, grabbed that engine there, Daisy the engine, and Ellie has been running on that since November 2022, I think. If I remember rightly, or was it 23? I lose track. I'm so old and so confused. No, it's 22 because I was looking at my call history. That was the last time I spoke to Pete Sparrow. Blimey. Yeah. November 22, we put that engine in and took her to the NEC. And she appeared at the NEC having only just returned to the road. And that's where we find ourselves now, a few thousand miles down the road. That engine is so nice, but it so needs to go back to Pete. And I'm also hoping to take Ellie to Pete so I can get him to sort out the rear suspension arms. Miss HubNut's painted one. I've just remembered I've got another one that I need to do. And then we can get those swapped over because rear arms are failing on 2CVs. and when they fail, it's quite catastrophic. I now know of 2 examples of that happening, and yeah, it's not good because the wheel literally falls off the car. Not ideal. So we want to avoid that if at all possible. So at some point we will be going to Sparrow to have some work done. And my friend Colin, who built the engine that's going in, now works for Sparrow. So I can return some stuff to him as well. I got tyres from him. I owe him bits of engine. I don't think I can put all of this in LE in one go. But yeah, to get over there, she will be a twin engine 2CV. Albeit they won't both be plumbed in. But yeah, there we are. I've got to let the phone charge up. I've utterly hammered it today. But this is the stage we're at. I'm having a day off tomorrow because it's one of Miss HubNut's rare days off. We have barely seen each other of late. So yeah, we're going to catch up tomorrow. And then we'll be back on it on Wednesday probably. Meanwhile, Eddie can just stay here like this, I think. But yeah, I'm starting to run out of day. I still haven't got my phone charged up. So I may have to go home and come back another time. And Desmond is going to have to stay outside. Sorry, Dezza. Well, that's been a very pleasant day. I'm sorry about this slightly weird angle. But yeah, very pleasant day here near Telford, where I've just been driving a Triumph Acclaim. And that's one I've been wanting to tick off for a long time. I've only driven one once a very long time ago. So I'm not going to say too much more about that. It will be in a video, or has been in a video at some point. I don't know how this week's going, but yeah, I rather forgot that I wasn't going to be fitting 2CV engine on Wednesday, because here is Wednesday and I'm out filming a road test. Just the one. Sometimes I try and cram a few road tests in a day, but sometimes it's better to kind of just take the time pressure off and just try and get everything as I want it. So we opted for that approach instead. Jet wash going off somewhere, I think. It sounds quite violent. But yeah, it's nice to be out in Betty again, giving myself a treat and letting me take the luxury barge with its new sporty, extra sporty exhaust. I'm going to put the radio on really to try and stop myself from just hoofing it everywhere, because it sounds so good. But yeah, lovely day out, lovely weather, lovely car, lovely owner. It's been a really nice sort of life-affirming day. I don't mind admitting I've had my struggles a bit lately, trying to balance this and kind of I'm kind of key parent as well at the moment. It's a lot. And I think very often, if we're the primary working partner, we don't necessarily appreciate what we've got until it's suddenly working full-time in a job that is all hours. And I'm certainly guilty of that. But anyway, back home now. And then tomorrow we're saying goodbye to the Velsatis and hopefully getting an engine fitted to a 2CV. Right, we had our fun gallivanting around in Betty yesterday. It's now time to work on 2CV engines. I've dragged out the engine that's been rebuilt. Weirdly, I didn't think there was any oil in it, but there is. So we must have put oil in it. And I've got to transfer over some stuff. The alternator needs to go over. The electronic ignition needs to go over. And have a look at this. It looks like we've got none of the ignition shielding. So the rubber and... still got the pins on. Oh no, that's all right. That's the this has got pins on for the electronic ignition. So normally you'd have your advanced weights on there, but running electronic ignition means you actually have little magnets that clip onto these posts, and that's what triggers the ignition. Works really well. So swap the 123 ignition over from this engine to that engine and time it up. And I've also got to take the manifolds off because Colin is concerned that he's lost an 8mm socket. He wants to make sure it hasn't somehow got into this engine. So we'll have a look at that. But we also forgot we got a lightened flywheel. So you see this flywheel is stepped, so there's actually a bit of a lip down there. My finger is just under the lip, whereas the lightened flywheel is shaved smooth and flat. and there's been a bit taken off the back as well, I think. So it'll be interesting to see if that makes any difference. Should make the engine more responsive, albeit I quite like the heavy flywheel. I'm very used to driving it, so it's going to be interesting to compare. But also need to do valve clearances and check the valve clearances and retorque the heads before we get too carried away. But I'm just wondering if it's going to be easier to work on the engine with it in the car. I think it might be. I think it's going to move around all over the place. Otherwise, it's just at a nicer height. So stage one, maybe to get that in there. Stage one is just get this a bit closer, I think. And we'll just do some stretching. Prepare the back muscles for their imminent workout. Stage one would be to get it up on the bumper here. And then we try and slot it in. I'm just going to put some grease on the input shaft. Just a little, not too much. It isn't red rubber grease, it's just grease that happens to be red. Just a little bit on there, just to aid things along. Marvellous. So thrust bearings on the gearbox side, and everything else is on the engine side. And I'm going to pop the starter motor off, actually, so I'll just do that off camera. Right. 1, 2, 3, lift! Oi! There we go. Move that out of the way. And now for the slightly more difficult bit, I've got this engine over there. Yeah, trying to do this without stretching the back is quite difficult. I've actually got that jack in. Get a foot in there. And then of course you don't want to dangle it on the input shaft, so we're not lining up on the splines, I don't think. And maybe we are. Yeah, the splines are engaged. This is a bit of knackering, trying to get it just slide home on the input shaft. No, it doesn't want to go. No, that's not feeling happy. Off we come again. Is it worth recentering the clutch? Yeah, that doesn't look very central to my eyes. So I think we're going to be dumping back down again, and we'll try that again. Maybe it is central. No, it does look slightly off, doesn't it? So if this spline is not perfectly central, it won't go home. Lighter than stock. Not much. There we go. So we'll slacken off all the 11s, and then we can move the clutch around. I'll see if I've got an adjuster tool that'll fit. I think that's better. Obviously it depends on your vantage point. But yeah, I've just wrapped tape around this extension bar, so at least we've got some sort of visual reference. That's looking a lot more central than it was. Take two. Sorry, I'm going to have my back to you to start with to get it back on the front bumper, I think. Oh no, I can come around the other way. With the hammer. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Helps to get my foot there. I can get myself a bit closer. Never noticed the left-hand manifold has a sticky out bit on it, which is really making life very uncomfortable. And oh, missed. Oh. Oh, I did a really good job on this last time. Not this time, apparently. No, I just can't get my feet in the right place. There we go. Oh, almost. Oh, that feels happier. Must be happier if still if it slide all the way home. Yes. We're done. Engine is back in. I need to pull this out of the way so we can lower it onto the front engine mount so we're not hanging it all off, but it doesn't really matter too much, I don't think. I might just take a moment, do some more back stretches. There we go, engine's in, bolted down front and rear. So I think the next job is probably just to pop the manifold off and just have a bit of an idiot check for issues. Interesting, I don't seem to have a hose clamp on that. That pipe is already feeling quite hard though. R6 it says, but yeah, that's very hard. This is a pipe I only replaced not all that long ago. I have to see if Tim's got some. I'm seeing Tim tonight, so maybe I'll see if Tim has got some pipe of suitable diameter. It's 5.5mm officially. You can make 6mm fit, but yeah, that's harder than I like. In the bottom section, it's still okay, I think. Right, 11s, and we can get this off. And thankfully, because it isn't that long since they were off, everything's coming undone nicely. Yeah, there we go. Marvellous. Do we think there is actually anything in here? I need to get this spring out and hook it one end to the other. Oh, come on. Oh, why you been a pig now? Oh, there we go. Pop that back there. I can't see an 8mm socket, but you want to be sure about these things. I'm going to get my magnetic stick and give it a good old wiggle around in there, just in case. Nothing in there. Nothing in there. And finally, nothing in there. Get the manifold on, and then we torque the cylinder heads down. Charles taking the rocker covers off. Now I'm going to have to check the torque figure for these because it is not very much. Because you're going into aluminium. And these back ones especially, these will strip for lols. So you definitely don't want to over tighten them. I've already had that sinking feeling with one of Ellie's engines when I've gone to tighten those back ones up and it's just not tightened. There we go, right. A rare occasion for HubNut. I'm going to find my torque wrench and find out what the figures should be. I'm consulting my Haynes manual. I haven't used this for many years, but it's quite filthy, unsurprisingly. There are some issues in here. Where is it? Cylinder head oil unions. It says £10 foot. I think that's actually a bit less than that. They are really low. And yeah, it's always worth checking. Yeah, very useful. And this one's had plenty of love over the years. And I'm actually going to be going to the Haynes Motor Museum later this year. I'm a guest for an event they're running. So I'll be doing some on-stage talks and hopefully having a little merch stand. We'll see how we go. The key ones I need to remember are manifold fixings, £14 foot, and then we've got to tighten the cylinder heads to 18. We've already just nipped them to 7, I think, but I might go and check their 7 first of all anyway. And then, yeah, we can get on with it. I can't find my little torque wrench. I can find my big torque wrench, but the big torque wrenches don't go low enough for a 2CV engine. So that's a bit of a blow. What on earth have I done with that? I think I may be done today. Trying to find my feeder gauges. No idea. Couldn't find my torque wrench. No idea. Couldn't find my 12mm deep socket. No idea. So I managed to borrow a socket from my landlord. Managed to borrow a torque wrench from Tim. But I'm done. I just have no idea where anything is. And I think this day can get in the sea. Shamefully, it is now Friday and this engine still is not running. I had to see Tim again last night, return the torque wrench and borrow some feeler gauges. So at least we can get the valve clearances done. And then we've got to swap the ignition system over. I've got 1, 2, 3 ignition. Haven't quite worked out how all those wires are coming out again yet. We'll make something work. And this rubber, I need to see if I've got another one of these. I think that is Daisy's rubber. So I don't really want to nick that. And then we should be pretty close to having this thing running. I don't love the fuel line, but I think just to get her running, it'll do. And we'll naturally have to run her open headers. So I'm just going to crack on, go through the valve clearances, and yeah, catch you in a bit. Well, we're quite a bit further on. It's taken quite a long time to get here. Trying to work out what wires are, because my colour coding is, yeah, horrendous. All I had was yellow wire. I've hastily made some connections, and this is just for testing. I'll have to remake those when we get it done. But we've got the engine statically timed. You can see you got that mark here. So you put a peg in through a hole down there. You just see the hole? I'll show you. Where's the hole? There's the hole. So that's the hole down there. You put a peg in and it slots into the flywheel, and someone had already marked it. So it's marked in the right place. A lot of people do this. Mark here, correspond with that bolt hole. So that is our static timing. That's when the ignition should be firing. And then with the ignition on, hopefully we've got the ignition on. Yep, ignition light is on. It's actually an oil pressure light. What we do next is we rotate this points box to the point it lights up. There we go. And then you go back until it goes out. And then just gently until it comes back on. Right, that should be our timing spot. So I'm just going to tighten that box up and rotate the engine and see if everything lines up. There we go. Light has just come on, and where have I stopped the engine? Right on the mark. Beautiful. Really, it should just be a case of connecting fuel. I'm going to move some wires away from the hot exhaust, and we should be able to do a headerless run. Nothing's ever easy, is it? I've just gone to connect the fuel back up, and turns out this pipe is actually a bit shorter than the one that came off, so it doesn't reach. Great. Disconnected the ignition, because first step, once I reconnect the power, is to make sure we're building oil pressure on this new engine. I want oil pressure before we try and fire it. So there's our oil pressure lights. So in theory, oh, the oil's getting round, you can hear it, changing tone, spinning happier. There's our oil pressure. And that should also crank some fuel into the carburetor. So this is going to be hellishly loud because we've just got the open headers on. But it kind of has to be done, really, doesn't it? I've set the choke. I've got no control over throttle from the car. But, oh, we still haven't got oil pressure back. That seems a bit unlikely. Really? Yeah, you'd expect that light to go off for a bit. You wouldn't expect it to stay off. Okay, we might just have to check some wiring before we go for the big turn on. Okay, I don't know what's going on here. I may have a Duff oil pressure switch, but I'm a bit confused because I thought I had a Duff oil pressure switch going on with this car. So what's going on with this one? It seems odd that the problem has transferred, is what I'm saying. So maybe it's more likely it's my dodgy wiring that's at fault. I do notice we've got a bit of a puddle going on down at the fuel pump down there. So I have to keep an eye on that. But we've got everything connected up. And in theory it should run, but I haven't got an oil pressure switch working. So ignition is on. That's the key position for on. And this is the oil pressure light. You see I've had everything out just to double check, swap switches and bulbs over. And I'll swap bulbs rather than switches. And we got no light. But when I ground out the oil pressure feed, it triggers the light, which is what it should do. Basically the oil pressure kills the earth so the light doesn't come on. So when you got no oil pressure, the light comes on. So is the problem my wiring? Yes, more than likely. My stomach is grumbling. I'm gonna try one thing before I give up for lunch. No, I've got continuity all the way down to the switch. So the connector has power that goes to the switch, which will suggest that the switch is therefore the problem. Hopefully I can extract it. Right, I've swapped the switches over. We seem to have a live again, so I'm just going to take that off so we can do an oil pressure check again. And you see we've got our oil pressure light on. Give it some cranking. Marvellous. Right, now we can connect back up again, and it's that one. There we go. This wire is not connected to anything. That is the horn, I think that one is, which is down there at the moment, out of reach. Let's just have a check if the fuel pump is looking a bit leaky. Unfortunately, it's maybe a fairly short run, but nonetheless, let's see if we can get it to fire into life. Apparently not. She's going to keep us guessing. Ignition's off. Oh, we're definitely getting petrol at the carb, because when there's too much petrol in the carb, it leaks out the back. But that seems to be really leaking out the back. We've got a stuck float going on. This engine has been out of use for quite a while now. So we'll just, yeah, that's a bit excessive, is that? You expect some leakage, but not that much. That's full choke. Oh, this is getting in the way of my choke mechanism. That probably isn't helping. Choke fully open. Choke fairly open. Alright, let's give that another go. Got HT leads connected up, the ignition's connected up. We've timed it, so it should go. Albeit it's probably feeling a bit weirded out by not having anything connected. Let's give it one of them. And ignition. And action. Oh, that's bad. Yeah, that's leaking like crazy. That's not ideal. Maybe that's where the leak is. Might just have to do something with that. It ran. It definitely ran. Right, take two. Got things tightened up a treat. Oh, yeah, oil pressure light's working. Oh, idiot, I've disconnected the coil. That'll do it. I forgot I disconnected that because we had a fuel leak. That's your always a safety. If you need to cut a 2CV engine, just pull the coil wire off. Right. Yeah, still got a petrol leak. So I need to sort something out about this pipe. Getting down that end is not so easy, but yeah, that's still leaking away quite merrily. But nonetheless, she runs on the new engine. Hurrah! So we're just starting to get the news through, but unfortunately there's been a very bad fire at what was Bicester Heritage. It's now Bicester Motion. Loads of classic car businesses there, and unfortunately 2 firefighters and a member of the public have been killed. My thoughts with their families, but here I am, petrol peeing all over the floor. And while I've got a fire safety stick, it was on the dashboard buried under everything, so no use whatsoever. So I'm going to keep that a little bit closer to hand while we're dealing with flammable liquids. I mean, we have no idea what caused this fire, but cars are quite good at making fire with their flammable fluids, sparky electrics. So disaster can sometimes be very close and get very out of hand very quickly. I've certainly had a few narrow incidents of escape in my time. The best one when I managed to set fire to the oil can. I was catching the oil out of Foxanne once, and that would have set the whole house ablaze if I'd not fought quickly and extinguished it. So yeah, stay safe folks, and thoughts to all those involved with Bicester. Not what you want to see. Sadly, I'm going to have to knock that video on the head. There's quite a lot I want to do to Ellie in terms of sorting that messy wiring out. I've got to replace fuel pipes, the fuel hose. It's just degraded. That R6 stuff is rubbish. I fitted that back in 2022 when I had to do an emergency mission down to see my family. And just before I went, I did a quick underbonnet check and the fuel pipe was split. So I just grabbed what I had, which happened to be R6. And yeah, it's gone hard, and that's why there's petrol going everywhere. Because it's basically not... yeah, it's not rubber anymore, it's like plastic. So that's going in the bin. I've already acquired some new fuel pipe and fixings from Tim, so I will be fitting those next week. So I'm just going to say thank you very much for watching. Don't forget you can head to the store and find all the lovely merchandise, and we can now send that anywhere in the world pretty much, courtesy of our Fourth Wall store. So, and yeah, we appreciate your support very much. But yeah, that incident at Bicester has it's knocked me for six and made me realise I really need to up my game. Yeah, I need to get on top of things. I think we can all be guilty of taking a few too many risks occasionally, and yeah, I need to make sure I'm not doing that. But yeah, thank you for watching. I'm sorry we ended up on a bit of a damper. We had that magic moment of the engine running and sounding healthy as far as I could tell. It's hard to tell anything without much noise. But yeah, then a bit of sadness, but that's real life, folks. It isn't all clouds and rainbows, is it? Let's face it. So yeah, sometimes bad things do unfortunately happen. But stay tuned for much more coming on HubNut. I've got that Triumph Acclaim road test will be coming soon, and yeah, Ellie back on the road. Plus, tomorrow, me, Tim, and the boy are off to Pembrey to watch truck racing, 2CV racing, and all that good stuff. Sunday, we've got Wheels for Wales back here. You may be watching this on Sunday, in which case the event's probably already happened. So yeah, lots coming soon. So stay tuned. Farewell. Spanners. That's actually my Halford ratchet. I was using that today.